here? Then I'll let you lead her. What about the bar? Burn it down.
Hey guys, Society Reviews here in my review of the film The Bikeriders. It's been a long while since anyone has heard from Jeff Nichols in the realm of filmmaking. It's been 7 years since Nichols has come out with a film that he's been responsible for writing and directing. His return to the chair, however, comes in the form of one of 2024's most anticipated movies of the entire year, entitled The Bikeriders. Sons of Anarchy has been off the air for several years, however the infatuation with 1% outlaw biker gangs has not subsided. For the genesis of this story, the film takes us back to the 1960s and gives us a look about how a fictional Midwestern biker gang, based on a real-life biker gang, grew to take over the entire country from a small town. Jeff Nichols' hallmark of a small-town USA ambiance is now moved to the Midwest in the suburbs around Chicago. The Bikeriders is a story about the rise of an outlaw motorcycle club called the Vandals. The club started out as a group of racers looking to kill time on the weekends and turned into one of the most notorious 1% clubs in the entire nation. The film is presented as an expose on the rise of the club and the downfall of many of its members. Jodie Comer plays a woman with a very thick Chicago accent named Kathy. Kathy gets invited into a club party for a 1% biker gang, and is there where she falls in love with one of his members, Benny, played by Austin Butler. Benny is known for being unpredictable but having strong loyalty to the club. The Vandals are run by the group's leader, Johnny, played by Tom Hardy. When the group first started, it was very much a small community of locals who rode together as a family. But as the story progresses, the downfall of the club begins when it starts to expand to other cities around the country. The group gets too big, and as a result, it leads to an overexpansion that leads to the introduction of new members, being the downfall of the mission statement for the club. For context, the Vandals in the film are based on the real-life 1% outlaw club called the Outlaws. The Outlaws had a historic rivalry with infamous 1% gang, the Hells Angels, that led to a lot of bloodshed and violence for many decades. What this film does is tell the story about how a run-of-the-mill biker gang became a 1% club, and the film does that by showing the relationship between Tom Hardy and Austin Butler's characters. Hardy plays Johnny, the club's president and founder, who got the idea from watching old 1950s television shows to create his own biker gang. The early portion of the movie shows the group being very tight-knit like a family and doesn't involve itself in many illegal activities in its early days. However, it wasn't until the club began to open up chapters in other cities that things got out of hand. When the group wasn't able to police its own inner circle, the ideology of the club began to spread uncontrollably. The more violent members began to take prominent positions in the club, leading to what we know it as today. Jodie Comer in the movie plays the love interest of Austin Butler. Her accent early on can be very jarring for those who are not used to strong Midwestern accents. The story structure is based on the book of the same title by photojournalist Donnie Lyon, who rode with the Chicago Outlaws in the 1960s. The film is a time warp of American culture in the Midwest during the 60s and the 70s, and the cinematography of the movie does a great job of making the setting look like another world when compared to today. The Bikeriders is a very enjoyable story, however there are noticeable flaws in its storytelling. The pacing can be uneven due to infrequent time jumps between the story, so the presentation isn't as clean as it should be. Some of the events take place out of order, but the story structure holds the movie together and the result is still very good. The strongest aspect of this movie is the acting. When you get strong performances from Butler, Hardy, and Comer, the film also provides you with many notable cameos along the way. When it's all said and done, Bikeriders will certainly be in the top 10 of many best of lists of 2024. I give this film a 4 out of 5.
We gotta go. Nah, we don't. They're scared of us.